The healing power of mind. Simple meditation exercises for health, well-being, and enlightenment. The true nature of our minds is enlightened and peaceful, as the depth of the ocean is calm and clear. But when we mentally grasp and emotionally cling to our wants and worries with all our energy, we lose our own enlightened freedom and healing power, only to gain stress and exhaustion, suffering and overexcitement, like the turbulent waves rolling on the surface of the ocean. Our minds possess the power to heal pain and stress, and to blossom into peace and joy by loosening the clinging attitudes the Buddhists call grasping at self. If we apply the mind's healing power, we can heal not only our mental and emotional afflictions, but physical problems too. This book is an invitation to awaken the healing power of mind through inspiring images and sounds, mindful movements, positive perceptions, soothing feelings, trusting confidence, and the realization of openness. The healing principle on which these exercises are based is the universal nature and omnipresent power envisioned in Mahayana Buddhism. Yet for healing, we don't have to be believers in any particular faith. We can heal body and mind simply by being what we truly are, and by allowing our own natural healing qualities to manifest. A peaceful and open mind, a loving and positive attitude, and warm, joyful energy in a state of balance and harmony. Chapter 1. Foundations of Healing. Our minds possess the power of healing pain and creating joy. If we use that power along with proper living, a positive attitude, and meditation, we can heal not only our mental and emotional afflictions, but even our physical problems. When we cling to our wants and worries with all our energy, we create only stress and exhaustion. By loosening the attitude that Buddhists call grasping at self, we can open up to our true nature, which is peaceful and enlightened. This book is an invitation to the awakening of our inner wisdom, a source of healing we all possess. Like a door opening to this wisdom, we can bring in the sunlight, warmth, and gentle breeze of healing. The source of this energy is ours to touch and share at any moment. A universal birthright that can bring us joy even in a world of suffering and ceaseless change. In Buddhism, the wisdom taught in the scriptures is mainly aimed at realizing enlightenment. However, spiritual exercises can also help us find happiness and health in our everyday life. There are extensive discourses in Buddhism on improving our ordinary life and having a peaceful, joyous, and beneficial existence in this very world. The benefits of healing. Buddhism advocates releasing the unnecessary and unhealthy tension that we create in our lives by realizing the truth of how things really are. I have seen many examples of the healing power of the mind for mental and emotional problems, and for physical sickness too. One example is from my own life. When I was 18, my dear teacher and I decided to flee Tibet because of political turmoil, knowing that we were losing home, country, friends, and livelihood. In an empty but sacred valley, my teacher died from old age and sickness. He was not only my kind and enlightened teacher, but had cared for me as a parent since I was 5. This was one of the saddest and most confused times of my life. However, my understanding of impermanence, the fact that everything always changes in life, made it easier to accept. Spiritual experiences enabled me to remain calm, and the wisdom lights of teaching made the path of my future life clearer to me. In other words, recognizing the nature of what was happening, opening to it, and using sources of power that I had already been given helped me heal from my loss more easily. As we shall see, these 3 basic steps, acknowledging difficulties and suffering, opening to them, and cultivating a positive attitude, are integral to the healing process. Another of my teachers had mental problems throughout his youth. He was so destructive that when he was a teenager, his family had to tie him up to protect others and himself from his violence. Through healing meditations, mainly of compassion, he healed himself and later became a great scholar and teacher. Today I know of no person more cheerful, peaceful, and kind. When I lived in Tibet, physical healing through meditation and the right attitude were a common part of everyday living. For someone from Tibet, it is accepted as an ordinary event that the mind can heal the body. The mind leads the energies of the body. This is how it is. There were so many healings, I never paid much attention when I was younger. However, I do know of one recent example that many people might find amazing, even if it is not very surprising from a Buddhist point of view. A couple of years ago, the present Dorupchen Rinpoche, a highly spiritual living Lama, had an attack of severe appendicitis while travelling in the remote countryside of Bhutan. A senior minister of the country arranged for a helicopter to take him to a hospital, but the doctors were afraid Rinpoche's appendix would rupture and the pain was very great. Against the strong advice of his doctors, he refused surgery and healed himself using meditations and mantras. Anyone can benefit. The ability to recover from such a serious sickness through meditation depends on a person's level of trust and spiritual experience. I only tell this true story to illustrate the power of the mind, and because people have such a strong interest in maintaining their physical health. Few of us are spiritual masters, but anyone can benefit from meditation and a positive attitude. Beginning from where we are right now, it is possible to live a happier and healthier life. Although physical sickness is one subject you will read about here, this book is meant mostly as a manual for dealing with our everyday emotions. This is the best starting place for most of us. If we can learn to bring greater contentment into everything we do, other blessings will naturally flow. People whose minds are open will hear the true way, which Buddhists call Dharma, even from nature. The Dharma Sangiti says, people who have mental well-being, even if the Buddha is not present, will hear Dharma from the sky, walls, and trees. For seekers whose minds are pure, teachings and instructions will appear just by their own wishes. Meditation, mind and body. Healing through meditation is not limited to a particular religious belief. Nowadays, many physicians trained in conventional Western medical science are recommending traditional methods of meditation as a way to restore and maintain mental and physical health. But these practices rarely acknowledge the experience of what Buddhists call the true nature or the great openness, but instead emphasize visualization and the development of a positive attitude and positive energy. High blood pressure, which in many cases is created and aggravated by mental stress, is particularly responsive to such alternative treatments. Bernie Siegel, MD, a surgeon and professor at Yale University, describes some of the benefits of meditation. It tends to lower or normalize blood pressure, pulse rate, and the levels of stress hormones in the blood. It produces changes in brainwave patterns, showing less excitability. Meditation also raises the pain threshold and reduces one's biological age. In short, it reduces wear and tear on both body and mind, helping people live better and longer. Tibetan medicine's approach to spiritual healing. In Buddhism, the mind generates healing energies, while the body, which is solid and stable, grounds, focuses, and strengthens them. The main text of Tibetan medicine is the Four Tantras, which Tibetans see as a terma, or mystical revelation, discovered in the 11th century. According to these ancient texts, the root of all sickness of mind and body is grasping at self. And the poisons of the mind that arise from this grasping are ignorance, hatred, and desire. Physical sickness are classified into three main divisions. According to Tibetan medicine, living in peace, free from emotional afflictions, and loosening our grip on self is the ultimate medicine for both mental and physical health. What is this self that has come up now several times in the book? The Buddhist view of self is sometimes difficult for people outside this tradition to understand. Although you can meditate without knowing what the self is, some background on the self will make it easier to do the healing exercises presented later. Language can be tricky when we're talking about great truths. In an everyday sense, it is quite natural and fine to talk about myself and yourself. I think we can agree that self-knowledge is good and that selfishness can make us unhappy. But let's go a bit further and examine the deeper truth about self as Buddhists see it. We are all Buddha. Buddhists believe that all beings possess Buddha nature. In our true nature, we are all Buddhas. However, the face of our Buddha nature is obscured by karma and its traces, which are rooted in grasping at self, just as the sun is covered by clouds. All beings are the same and are one in being perfect in their true nature. We know that when our mind is natural, relaxed, and free from mental or emotional pressures, the situations that upset us, then we experience peace. This is evidence that the uncontaminated nature of the mind is peaceful and not painful. Although this wisdom, the true nature that dwells in us, has been covered by mental defilements, it remains perfect and clear. Nagarjuna, founder of the Middle Way school of Mahayana Buddhism, writes, "Water in the earth remains unstained. Likewise, in the emotional afflictions, wisdom remains unstained." Nagarjuna speaks of peace and freedom as our own ultimate sphere, which is within us all the time if we only realize it. In the womb of a pregnant woman, although there is a child, we cannot see it. Likewise, we do not see our own ultimate sphere, which is covered by our emotional afflictions. Peace is within us. We need not look elsewhere for it. By using what Buddhists call skillful means, including meditation exercises, we can uncover this ultimate sanctuary. Nagarjuna describes the ultimate sphere, the great openness, the union of mind and universe this way. As by churning the milk, its essence butter appears immaculately. By purifying mental afflictions, the ultimate sphere manifests immaculately. As a lamp in a vase does not manifest, the ultimate sphere enveloped in the vase of mental afflictions is not visible for us. In whatever part of the vase you make a hole, from that very part, light from the lamp will shine forth. When the vase of mental afflictions is destroyed through Vajra-like meditation, the light shines unto the limits of space. Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, says, living beings are Buddha in their true nature, but their nature is obscured by casual or sudden afflictions. When the afflictions are cleansed, living beings themselves are the very Buddha. Buddhahood or enlightenment is no self. It is total, everlasting, universal peace, openness, selflessness, oneness, and joy. For most people, the prospect of total realization of enlightenment is very foreign and difficult to understand. The purpose of this book is not to go beyond self, not to be fully enlightened, but only to relax our grip on self a little bit and to be happier and healthier. Even so, it may be helpful to have an idea of what is meant by total openness and oneness. The enlightened mind is really not so foreign. Openness is here within us, although we may not always recognize it. We can all experience it at some important juncture in our life, or even as a glimpse amid our everyday existence. The path of healing. Enlightenment is oneness, beyond grasping itself, beyond duality, beyond happy or sad, beyond positive or negative karma. However, when we talk of healing, as in this book, it is not necessary to be too concerned with enlightenment. Realizing the true nature of our minds is the ultimate healing. But the ordinary mind also has its healing powers. We can use the everyday dualistic minds to help ourselves. Most of the exercises in this book take this everyday approach to becoming more relaxed and happy. So our aim is simply to go from negative to positive, from sickness to healing. If we are already in a positive state for the time being, we can learn how to maintain and enjoy that. However much we loosen our grasping, that much better we will feel. On a long journey, we may want to keep the ultimate destination in mind, but it is good to take one day at a time and rest along the way. If we want to relax our grip on self, we shouldn't try too hard. It's better to take a gentle approach. Whatever steps we take, even if they are small, the most important thing is to rejoice in those small steps. Then they become powerful. Always we should appreciate what we are able to do and not feel bad about what we haven't done. To be a little more open, a little more positive, a little more relaxed. These are the goals of this book. If we are newcomers to meditation and spiritual training, it is important to be practical, to use our knowledge of ourselves to see the right path to take. When we keep an open attitude, suggestions about specific healing meditations can help us swiftly along the path. The best guide of all is the wisdom within us. We are not restricted to a few methods of meditation. Instead, all of life, thinking, feeling, everyday activities and experiences can be means of healing.